Welcome back. It's Mickey Myquirth. I have some notes for us today. I'm going to talk about something welcome back. Welcome back. It's Mickey Myquirth, and I am glad that you are taking the time to hang out with me. So, today in Prosperity Mindset, I'm going to talk about expander moments. These are those moments where you go, oh, I'm going to expand, and they're not always very comfortable. So what you want to think about is one calling them out is to go, oh, wow, okay. Because a lot of times something will happen because I'm a business strategist. And in that business strategist and working with truly hundreds of students every single month from all the classes that I teach, from all of the different programs that I work with, there are lots and lots and lots of things that don't go well, things that just don't go well at all. And so every day there is something that's going to happen in my life every single day that just makes me pause. And some things are really where I have to check myself on maybe a limiting belief, or I didn't know that that could happen. And sometimes people will give me a piece of information that I'm like, oh, wow, that changes everything. So an expander moment is something you want to notice. It's something that's going to force you to expand. And sometimes those are things that are expanders that show you what you're asking for, but it's not complete. So an expander moment, I go back to Mary. So Mary was in my class, and Mary was sure that she wanted a farm. Now, Mary was in the homeless shelter, and when I still teach in the homeless shelters every 14 days. When I talk about prosperity and the ability to magnify, it works for everybody. That I have taught prosperity literally to people who have just come onto our soil and don't have a dime, to people that are in the homeless shelters, to average individuals, through financial planning, through all these other things, through businesses. Right now, we still have over 40 businesses in retirement. I still have 40 businesses that we manage brand with. And then we also have these bigger projects that we do with corporate and corporate groups, and then the bigger projects with the city and the state. So when you start to kind of go, oh, okay, how many expander moments are possible? So when you look at an expander moment, I look at Mary. And Mary's a really great example because it just tickled me. It just tickled me. So Mary was in the shelter, and she's like, what are you afraid to dream? And she's like, I really want to farm. So I hung out with Mary for the 3 years because it takes about 36 months for somebody to kind of get their life changed around. So that's also why our prosperity programs are longer. That's why we want you in monthly coaching, because it takes a long time to shift your life. So an expander moment is really when you go, oh, this isn't working the way I planned, right? That you might get part of what you're asking for, but not all of what you're asking for. Like it's just going to make you focus in more. So Mary was finally able to get her credit together and all her life together. And I'm like, let's go visit a farm. She had like books and vision boards and all this other stuff. She wanted goats, she wanted chickens, she wanted horses, she wants land. Well, that girl has never been on a farm in her life, but she knew she wanted that. And she has 6 kids. So she has this idea about what it could be. So I'm like, okay, her and I, let's go. So we go over to one of my friends who has a farm, who has goats and who has chickens and who has horses. And we get there, and Mary's out there with these goats, and it's so lovely. And oh my gosh, what? I mean, she can't wait for the opportunity to feed these little goats. But she didn't realize that everything that went in the front of that goat came out the back of that goat. So there's goat poop everywhere. Then she went and did the mistake, and I didn't think, but she bent down, and what you never do in a goat pen is bend over, because it's a target. And one of those cute little goats just knocked her on her buttocks so fast that it just popped her right in the air. Boom. She just couldn't believe it. She was like, "What happened? These are evil goats." No, they're not evil goats. You just don't have any experience. Expander moment. Expander moment. So we get over it and we laugh about it and so forth. Okay, I still want my dream. So then she goes and picks an apple off the tree, and my friend who owns the farm says, yes, you can have all of these apples. You can give the horse apples. It's a treat for them. We only give them a few a day, but yes, you're welcome to feed the goat the horse an apple." So she's standing there and she's got a couple of apples in her hand, and she's talking to the girl who has the farm, and she's holding these apples in her hand, and the horse can see right there that she has apples in her hand and she is turned the wrong way. Expander moment. Hello, those are my apples. What are you doing with those apples? The horse knows that those apples are his apples when you come over to his pen. So the horse just reaches over the fence, pulls his thing out, and nips on her shoulder to let her know. Well, this sent her over the moon of just, oh my gosh, apple goes in the air, Mary goes crazy. And the two of us laugh because we just go, yeah, you can't taunt in that way. If you're going to give the horse an apple, you have to just directly give the horse an apple. We're sorry, we didn't know he was going to do that, but there you go. So we're having this expander moment, and another one, and another one, and another one. So we get into the car, and Mary is, oh gosh, she's just crying. She's just ruined her life, everything of her dreams. She's like, it's just ruined. It's ruined. I didn't like that. I didn't, it was terrible. And so we just walked it through, right? Luckily, we had an hour and a half drive. So by the time we get to the end, she goes, maybe I like plants. Expander moment. I said, maybe you would like to spend more time with your dream in real life. Why don't you, you can consider going out and helping this person on their farm and learning some of the things that you don't know. It'll make it so much easier when you do yours. Oh, yeah, okay, right? Expander moment. But what that trip did, not just to ruin her thoughts on a hobby farm, because everybody wants to have a hobby farm, right? Was to say, this is a lot of work, right? This is how can I have my dream? She could not, you couldn't have told her that horses bite because it wasn't in her dream. She couldn't expand to that thought. So when you look at that, you really want to go, oh, here's my expander moment. And then the second part is to go, you have to understand that meaning. Why? Why was this there? What's the thing under the thing under the thing under the thing, right? And then you have to go in and process the moment. That's what Mary and I did in the car. Let's process that moment. And then let's bless that moment, right? Let's give it some grace. Let's give it some affirmation. Let's do that. So let's take that expanding moment. Right? The first step is to call it out. Wow, that's an expanding moment. 2, understand its meaning. Why do you think that there's so many tears for you, Mary? Right? What is that? Then we have to process it. Number 3. Then number 4 comes, what's the blessing? What's the wisdom? What are we learning out of that? And then step 5 in expander moments is really the movement. What are we taking forward with us? And so a lot of times you are actually working through that process when things aren't going well, but you didn't necessarily have the named process. So expander moments have 5 different sections. 1, what is it, right? What are we noticing? What is the expanded moment? And what did you get that was positive in that moment? And then really being mindful and present in the moment. What did you get out of that that's positive? 2 is understanding the meaning. What is the meaning of that lesson for you? That lesson might be that she didn't have enough infrastructure. She hadn't spent enough time on the farm. There's a lot of things that she had as lessons, right? And those are the things that you want to look at. That's the benefit of an expander moment. Then number 3 is you have to process that. You have to process that movement of what are we going to do? Okay, well, and so her point was maybe I should start just learning how to grow things. Okay, that's a good idea. Can I manage a plant? I can't manage a goat right now, but I might be able to manage a plant. Okay, great. Then comes the wisdom, right? Number 4 is wisdom. What is the wisdom, the grace, the blessings, the affirmation? What is it that we need to do? What's the wisdom I'm taking away? For Mary, it was, huh, okay, I don't know anything about goats or chickens or horses or farming or land stuff. Like we got there, she couldn't believe how muddy it was. Like, how, what is with all of this mud? I said, you're outside on a farm. It's muddy. If it rains, it's mud. She didn't know that could happen. She just thought it was green and pretty. Then number 5 is the movement. What's the way forward? The way forward in Mary's case was, why do you go to my friend Julie's more often? Why don't you just go spend one day a month over there? And Julie was like thrilled. She's like, yes, come up, bring your little kids. It would be great. So they got this chance to be able to test some things out. And you're going to be in expander moments of every kind all the time. And what will happen for you is the more you move towards your dreams, the more you go, yep, I want this bigger thing. Yep, I'm going to lean in. Yep, I'm going to move in more. Yep, I'm getting closer. The more times you move in closer, the more expander moments you'll get. That'll make you go, whoa, let me step back a second. Let me think about what's going on here. What is happening for me? So you're going to have them. They are beautiful. When I have something that you really see that contrast in, that this is not going the way I had it planned, you should take a look at it. I remember when I broke my back. So for those of you who may have known me when I had my brace on, I was in a brace literally from my neck down to my knees for 3 years. And I had to wear a brace every single day. And it was so much pain. I had to learn how to rewalk. I had to learn how to do all these things. That I was a bright, healthy, vibrant woman. And then I had a little bike accident and broke my back. And that changed my marriage. It changed everything around in our life. It was an expanding moment. And there was a lot of wisdom that I learned from being uh, on what I call tummy time, right? So if you've ever had to heal a back, you spend a lot of time on your belly. And so I would spend time on my belly in the living room floor, and we had a bright red rug. And I would lay on that floor and type and try to get my work done because I'm still our breadwinner. So I had to really think about things. And I remember thinking somewhere in the back of my mind, this is not what I meant about having a life on the red carpet. And it just made me laugh, right? That all my life I've thought about maybe being on the red carpet one day just to see all of it. Wouldn't that be fun? And now I'm on the red carpet fighting for every hour to stay awake, to deal with the pain, to do all these other things, right? It was a very different experience. That right there, expanding moment. What did I learn? What's the wisdom that I could take from something that took my life and made it go in a whole nother direction, right? And that was mobility. What do you do when you lose mobility? And that's an expanding moment. And when you look at those processes of identifying it and looking at the positive parts of it, the positive parts of breaking my back, you go, oh, there are hardly any. Well, there were a lot. My husband hadn't made a lunch in his life. He didn't even know. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe how many meals come out of that kitchen. He just couldn't believe it. So, there was a lot of things that he had to learn, that like milk doesn't just show up you have to go get it. And you just went and got it yesterday and it's all gone. Yeah, so's the bread, so's the eggs, so's the cheese, right? Expander moments. But you have to look at the positive parts of that. One, you have to understand their meaning. A lot of times people are glazing over the fact that they don't know what it is about. And you have to really look at, why does something grab your attention? Why is it feeling this way? What is this discomfort? How is this important to my journey? Everything happens for a reason. It doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And there was no way that I would have learned those lessons any other way than what it felt like to be in chronic pain, what it felt like to get out of chronic pain, what it felt like to want to drug yourself to death versus really paying attention, that giving your body healing. I mean, there's so many things I learned. But again, I had to understand their meaning to me at this time. And even now, I'll look back at that situation and go, how much did I learn from that? What did I get from that? What is the thing under the thing under the thing under the thing? And then I have to process the moment, right? What is happening here? I remember my husband and I, when I could kind of sit upright, that we were out in the hills and we were just going for a walk, and we were kind of trying to see how fast my foot would go dead. So I couldn't walk very far, but working on that uneven terrain was really helpful. But once we lovingly called it dead foot. Once dead foot came in, it just stopped working. So suddenly I had a leg that didn't work anymore. And I remember processing that and going, oh, okay, well, let's walk as far as we can. And then when my leg stops working, we have to go home. Okay, great, right? We'll process it in the moment. What is going to happen? I can stand. That was a really big deal. I could walk around a block, but I had to learn how to do all those things again. So what's the wisdom? What's the grace? What's the affirmation? Right? And the wisdom and the blessing is that we're just gonna take it. It really let me be a little bit more obsessed with being kind to my body. And I'm a bigger woman. I'm a big-bodied person, and I've been a big-bodied person my whole life. So it is also, it was really learning to be kind and gentle to my body so that I could heal. And some of that healing still comes to this day, 15 years later. The number 5 is the movement, right? What are you going to do? And I remember thinking, when I was laying there in pain, that I was thinking, I am going to take the time to walk in the woods more. And I made that choice. That was the movement that I had to learn, was that I wasn't using my ability to walk in the way that was meaningful. That I was using walking just as a tool to get from one place to the other. That I didn't actually use it as an exploration tool. That I wasn't using it in the way that I had to make movement. I had to make change. So when you're thinking about expander moments for yourself, it's a 5-step process. It's a 5-step process that's different on every moment, but you have to go through and process it. Otherwise, you'll miss the wisdom, because you're going to take your thoughts, your learning, and your experiences, and you're going to carve them up into a piece of wisdom. And that wisdom and prosperity mindset is delivered with blessings and grace and affirmation and kindness and gentle and loving and thoughtful, because that's what you want to expand from, right? That we're going to expand from place. Prosperity is the ability to magnify. If you are magnifying from anger and a wad of just mad, that's just a hot stash that's going to turn into an anger wad. And you will get movement. You won't get the movement that you want. And that movement that you want to magnify from is, again, loving, thoughtful, generous, and forward. You want to move forward. And that is the expansion lesson of the day. So have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for just being you, because I love it when you're here, and you're a big deal. So have a great day. If you have a comment, please leave it. Of course, you can follow any of the other chats. But again, if I can't see you live in class, I'd like to see you here. Bye.